server cluster architecture is really paradoxical because multi-tenancy only works if you have customers on there that are not overutilizing the same types of resources.
Sure.
And so scalability tends to be a problem because the more agents you put on a server cluster, the less stable it's going to become because you're increasing the likelihood of certain resources getting overutilized by more customers on that thing. It's like an apartment building, 10 apartments, but you take 2 people in 2 of those apartments who go and turn on all of their faucets, and everybody in the apartment building, their water pressure goes down.
Sure.
I mean, server cluster architecture is the same way. You have a finite amount of resources that's on there that can be used. Now, so if you think about this, and I'm sorry to get sidetracked, but I'm passionate and I just have to talk about this. Server cluster providers are paradoxically financially incentivized to make their platform less stable. They need to put as many agents on
Sure.
the server cluster as they possibly can to justify this large expense that they made to create the darn thing.
Sure.
But the more agents they put on it, the less stable it is.
Yeah, but I mean, I've not run into any suppliers that are at least not saying that they're not keeping their clusters at 55 or 60 or 70% capacity before they're spinning up a new one. Are you saying that's just inherently not the case because it just financially doesn't make sense to do it? Or because every time I talk to somebody, that's basically when they say, when I ask them the question, AWS or Google Compute or a cluster, they say, no, we keep it at 75, we keep it at 60%. And we spin up another one.
Keep it at 75 to 60%.
I'm just curious.
Because when they talk about redundancy, they have one cluster be redundant to another. Okay, so if they have 2 clusters that are running at 75% and something happens and they need to fail over to this other cluster is now really cranking and is going
so
to
their
be
infrastructure in itself is its own disaster recovery. So all the seats you have in there have to have a place to go because there's no other scale. There's no other place to get water from in your analogy.
There is no other place.